Y'all, I am so tired. Switch 2 is $450, $80 games. Nintendo, more like nickel and dime-o. Yeah, today, let's talk about their most egregiously priced product of all, this damn app. Listening to Nintendo soundtracks has never been a particularly easy thing. Either you have to just play the particular game and or level that you wanted to listen to, Mario Bros. World 4 is a banger! Use sound selection features in games like Smash, or find one of the seldom released soundtrack CDs, commonly released only in Japan. For the past nearly 2 decades, what most people did, including myself, was just go on YouTube and look up the particular song that we wanted to listen to. Simple as that. Back in the heyday of listening to stuff on YouTube, there were several channels dedicated to Nintendo music, like Gilva or Brawl BRST MS3. We had so many options on channels like these. We could listen to just the standard songs, or even 15-minute or 30-minute extended editions of the songs made by the community. Want to listen to that epic final boss scene from Bowser's Inside Story for 30 minutes? Wii Shop channel for 30 minutes? This was a great era to be a Nintendo fan. You could find nearly any song you wanted whenever you wanted. Just one key issue. Even though Nintendo was getting a ton of free publicity off of these channels, they weren't exactly profiting off of them. Just as Nintendo is so against game piracy, even though they give you no legal way to play their games, they had a similar reaction to all of their music being uploaded on YouTube. In early 2022, Gilva received thousands, I kid you not, thousands of copyright strikes to the channel, all from the big N. This basically spelled the end for the channel. Instead of trying to fight the strikes and keep the music up, the creator just decided to take the whole channel down. And just like that, no more Gilva. The weird thing is, basically all of his music is available on YouTube still, one way or another, just on other, smaller channels. Heck, what do you think I'm listening to writing this video? There have, of course, been more takedowns over the years, namely with channels like Deoxys Prime removing all Nintendo music from the channel after receiving similar strikes. Even weirder, there was still no official way to listen to Nintendo soundtracks outside of the methods I mentioned earlier. It just feels petty at this point. Furthermore, other, albeit more Nintendo-adjacent games like Pokemon had their soundtracks released on services like iTunes and Apple Music. Clearly with the viewership on YouTube and the sales on iTunes, there must be a pretty large market for this music, no? Even I bought the Pokemon Sun and Moon soundtrack back in the day. Would I do that now? Hell no. You actually can't, at least not through normal means like searching for the music because of some shadow bans that they put on the music for whatever reason. So rather than putting the music on the green app or the red one, they decided to switch it up like Nintendo and do their own thing. Introducing Nintendo Music. The first thing I did when getting this app was of course search for Mother 3. And okay, maybe that was too obscure. Let's look for a Mario and Luigi soundtrack. Any of them. Bruh. And that's just it. This app has been out for nearly a year and it has less music selection than Mario Tennis Ultra Smash had features. Also, I checked. That game's not on here either. Now, the music section that we do have isn't terrible, I guess. We have a bunch of Marios, a bunch of Zeldas, some Pokemon, some Splatoon, some other third-party games, a Brain Age guy, and a Luigi. Woohoo! Okay, so while the games there are cool, the omissions are even more strange. Like, where is Galaxy 2? Where is Tears of the Kingdom? There's a ton of games here that you'd think would just be here out of their sheer popularity and connection to other games that are included, Galaxy 1, Breath of the Wild, but they're just not here for whatever reason. Coupled with that, there's a lot of retro games that are missing, like a lot of games from the DS era, a lot of games from N64 and GameCube. Where are any of like the Pokemon DS games? Where is a lot of the Kirby DS games? Where is frickin' Superman 64? Nobody knows, and it seems like Nintendo's not gonna really be adding these titles anytime soon, considering that they only add titles once a week, which is a ridiculous time frame to add things. I'm sure it takes time. I'm not discounting the developers there, but I think there should have been more to start. And at this rate, it's gonna take literally years for them to add all of their library. The thing is, I wouldn't be complaining if this was just the thing on Spotify, but since Nintendo just had to make their own app, I'm gonna complain about it. Because if you're gonna make something and you're gonna charge people for it, you gotta actually make that product worthwhile. And as of right now, I don't really think it is. Granted, I'm sure no one's paying for a Switch Online subscription purely for Nintendo Music, besides me. But even as a perk, I don't think it's worth it. So how is the actual experience of using the app, you might ask? To me, it's not really that great. There's a lot of missing features, and those are made especially prevalent when you compare it to other music players. I'll start with the positives. My number one is that you can extend the music just like you would on YouTube. You can extend it to multiple intervals, and they sound just like how they loop in the game. So there's no real quality loss there, and you can't hear it looping, which is great. There's also the spoiler prevention feature where you can tell it games that you don't want to hear certain music from, so that way you can go into those games fresh whenever you finally do. And while I appreciate that feature, it is a nice one, not gonna lie. I don't really consider video game music a spoiler, so for me it's not that important, but for other people I can understand why, and I respect Nintendo for adding that feature. Third, we also have some neat album covers for different games. There's no true album cover in that each track has its own art associated with it. It's just like a little screenshot from the game that's kind of from whatever area that song is from. It's nice, it's cute. Now, when I compare this to other options, it becomes worse in my opinion, especially to YouTube, because on YouTube, a lot of uploaders would split the songs into different segments. Like if a boss had multiple phases, you would be able to hear each of those separately. And it's still split this way in Nintendo Music, but it's not very consistent. Like take Breath of the Wild, for example. Calamity Ganon has 2 phases, and both of these are their own distinct songs. But then if you go to Dark Beast Ganon, there's only 1 song for all 3 phases. It doesn't make any sense. And I wish there was a little more consistency in this app, because that would make it a bit of a better experience. The UI is also a little weird because it works slightly differently from other music players. Normally on a music player, you have your 3 buttons, your previous track, play pause, and your next track button. If you press previous track, it'll go back to the beginning of the current song that's playing. And then if you press it again, it'll go to the actual previous song. Even classic iPods work this way, but on Nintendo Music, it will just skip straight back to the previous track. And maybe they did some weird test audience thing where people wanted that, but for me, I would much rather have it work the same as other music players, because I stimmed music a lot, and when it skips straight to the previous song, it's a little bit annoying because I just want to hear like that same 20-second part at the beginning of a song, and I don't want to have to then skip back and skip forward again, because that's a needless action. Finally, on the home screen, there's no information whatsoever. All you're getting is the song title. You want to know which team made the song? They don't exist. You want to know which game the song is from? That doesn't exist either. Song title is all you're getting, and while most people won't care about the missing info, it's a little annoying that it's just not there in the first place. Come on, Nintendo. Yeah, and you can't really use it on CarPlay either. So my question to Nintendo is this: why couldn't they have just put their music onto another platform like Spotify? A lot of other companies do this. Sony, Sega, Square Enix, and I'm sure they're getting a perfectly fair wage like all of the other Spotify artists are. So why not you, Nintendo? I know you like to switch it up, but just be normal for once. Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope you enjoyed this video and the new visual style. Developing that has been the main reason I've been MIA the last couple months, along with college. But I'm graduated now, so I have a lot more free time, and hopefully I should be making a lot more YouTube videos. So I hope to be seeing y'all soon.